Hello everybody, my name is Rob Biddulph and I am a children's author and illustrator. You might have seen some of my books before, like Blown Away or Odd Dog Out, or maybe you know me from my Draw with Rob series of videos and activity books. Either way, I am delighted to be here with you today for this very special World Book Day event, brought to you by Manchester Library Service in conjunction with the Manchester Literary Festival and my friends at Z Arts too. Okay, now I thought that maybe I would start this session by telling you a bit about how I became a children's author and illustrator. And we're going to go right back to the beginning, to when I was a little boy. Here I am, aged about 5 or 6, something like that. When I was 5 or 6, there were two things that I wanted to be when I grew up. One of them was a footballer. You can see I'm holding a football in this picture. I wanted to play for my favourite team, which is Arsenal. I know, Arsenal are quite good at the moment, aren't we? Fingers crossed we can win the league this year. But the other thing that I wanted to do, or wanted to be, was something called an illustrator. Now, an illustrator is somebody who draws pictures for a living. The reason that I wanted to be an illustrator can be traced back to this drawing here. Now, I did this drawing when I was in reception at school, so I was 4 or 5 years old. The reason I drew this picture is there was a drawing competition at my school. We were having a summer fair and everybody in the school could enter this competition just ahead of the summer fair. You just had to draw a picture of something to do with the summer fair. So I drew this picture of some children dancing around a maypole. And if you look very closely up in the top left-hand corner, you can see that somebody has written a little letter P. And that P stands for prize, because I was very lucky and I won first prize in the drawing competition in the whole school. And I can remember the day that my head teacher came into the classroom to tell me that I'd won. And he called me to the front of the class and he said, "Congratulations, you've won." And do you know what? I must admit, my first thought was, what's my prize going to be? It's probably going to be like, you know, a new bike or something, isn't it? Maybe a Nintendo Switch, something like that. It was neither of those things. Do you know what my prize was? It was a pencil. No, I know that doesn't sound very exciting, does it? But you know what? I treasured that pencil. I loved that pencil because that pencil stood for something. It stood for the fact that someone thought that I was good at drawing. So what happened was, because someone said they thought I was good at drawing, I carried on doing it. I kept on practicing my drawing because I wanted to get better and better at it. So as I got older, that's exactly what I did. One of my favourite things to do was to write and draw stories based on the characters that my parents and my teachers would read about at school. So like Brer Rabbit, things like that. I'd write my own Brer Rabbit stories, as you can see here, and I turn them into little books, staple them down the side. I spent a lot of time making my own comics. Here's lots of my comics that I made during the school holidays. I loved doing that. And I also spent a lot of time copying my favourite characters, cartoon characters and things. Now, lots of people say that copying is actually cheating, but I actually think it's a really, really good way of getting better at drawing, because you get to see how other artists put their characters together. And anyone who's followed along with me for one of my Draw with Rob videos will know that that's the case. You get to see how I do my characters, and it can help you when you're drawing your own characters. So I carried on drawing and I got older and older. And then eventually when I turned 18, off I went to art college, which is basically like school, but you get to draw and paint all the time. And in the end, I ended up getting a job designing the pages of lots of very famous newspapers and magazines. And it was a lovely job, but I always remembered the days that I used to make my own comics and my own storybooks. So when I had children of my own and started reading lots of bedtime stories for them, I decided that I was going to have a go at making my own picture books to read to them at bedtime. And so I didn't know how to do it really, but I just thought, if you don't try, you'll never learn anything, will you? So I just thought, right, I'm going to have a go at writing a children's book. And that's what I did. I ended up writing a story about a little blue penguin who goes out flying a kite on a very, very windy day, and he ends up getting blown away. And so here we go. This is my very first picture book, Blown Away. And I remember the day that I first held a copy of this book in my hands, because it took me quite a long time to get published. I had to keep working very hard and not give up, you know. And so when I finally got to hold this book in my hand, I was so proud. It's such a special moment to see a book, you know, with your name at the top of it. I really loved it. And I was very lucky. It won again, I won another prize, like I won for that drawing that I did when I was in reception. It won the Waterstones Children's Book Prize. And that meant that lots of people kind of got to see it in shop windows and things, and lots of people bought it, which meant that HarperCollins, my publisher, let me do more books. So I've written books like, let me see, what can I show you? What about this one? Odd Dog Out, you might have seen this one. I'm really, really proud of that. So I've written books about sausage dogs. I've written books about bears. I wrote a book called Grr, about a bear who loses his growl. I've written a pirate penguin book. I've written lots of dinosaur books, all sorts of things. And I feel so lucky that I get to do this for my job, because it feels more like a hobby than a job. So I'm a very, very lucky person to get to do their kind of dream hobby for their job. But that all basically came about because I worked hard and I practiced and I kind of didn't give up, because it's quite hard to get a book published, but I knew I really wanted to do it. So I worked really, really hard to do it. So my message to all of you today is, whatever you want to be when you grow up, just be prepared to work really, really hard at it. Practice, practice, practice. And that way you're going to give yourself every chance of fulfilling your dreams. So work hard in school. Practice, practice, practice. Whatever it is you want to be, whether it's a doctor or a ballerina or a teacher or a fire person or, anything you want to be, don't give up. You work hard, you can do it, because I am living proof of that. But the book I want to talk to you about today is this one, which is kind of my newest picture book, and it's called The Blue-Footed Booby. I know booby's a bit of a funny word, isn't it? But it's actually a real bird, a booby. And a blue-footed booby is a real bird too. Would you like to see a picture of one? Here you go. Isn't that a funny looking bird? I remember when I first saw a picture of this bird, probably about 10 years ago, and immediately I thought to myself, I need to write a picture book about this guy, because he's an amazing looking thing. And what's brilliant is you don't just get blue-footed ones, you also get red-footed ones too. So I thought, I need to write a story about this guy. So that's what I've done, and it's a really, really fun story, and I'm going to read it to you in a little while. But before we do that, I thought I'd show you how to draw a booby. It sounds so funny when I say that. I think I mentioned earlier, this Draw with Rob. I don't know if any of you have ever watched my Draw with Rob videos, or even know what Draw with Rob is. I'm going to tell you what it is. Now, right at the beginning of the pandemic, when they first closed the schools, I realised there was going to be lots of children stuck at home looking for things to do. So I thought, well, actually, do you know what? I can help here. I can record myself drawing some of my characters, and I can put them up online. And it might keep children busy while they're stuck at home without being able to see their friends or their grandparents and lots of their family and things. It might keep them busy for, half an hour or so, a couple of times a week. So I was watching the news when they said they were going to close the schools, and that was on a Sunday night. On the Monday, I recorded the first video. On the Tuesday, I put it up on YouTube. And on the Wednesday, so many thousands of people had watched the video that I was on the news at 10 on the telly, because so many people watched it. It was a very strange experience, but I was absolutely thrilled to be helping so many thousands and thousands of children all across the world. And I started to get sent all these amazing pictures. Look at these pictures that I was sent from children everywhere. And what I really, really love about Draw with Rob and all these pictures is that we literally draw exactly the same thing. Everybody starts off drawing the same thing. We're doing a step-by-step drawing together. But look, everybody's drawings look totally different. And you know what? That's the beauty of art. You can't help but put a bit of yourself into your drawing. There's no right or wrong answer with art. It's not like maths. And so when people say to me, I'm not very good at drawing, I say, well, who says? Who says what's the right answer with drawing? There is no right answer. So what's good and what's bad? It's a totally subjective thing. So I say the best thing you could do is just draw confidently. Don't worry about what other people think. Just draw whatever you want to draw to make yourself happy. So that's what I say. So anyway, I thought we could do a little special Draw with Rob video of our own right now. What do you think? Yeah, should we do it? I'm going to show you how to draw a red-footed booby. Okay, so grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, whatever it is you want to draw. You might need a coloured pencil, a red coloured pencil or something a bit later on, but if you haven't got one, don't you worry too much about that. And shall we do it? Let's do this drawing. So Rob, I'm going to hand over to you, me, I'm going to hand over to myself and I am going to show you how to draw a red-footed booby. Okay, Rob, you ready? Yes. Okay, it's over to you. What we need to do is let's start towards the top of our page, shall we? And I want you to draw a kind of circle, but we're going to leave a gap at the bottom of our circle. So I think I'm going to start about here and I'm going to draw a kind of circle like that. We're going to go up and around, but can you see, oh, that's a bit thick there. But I'm going to come back down and instead of just sort of stopping dead, I've slightly curved down at either end of my little circle. Like that. So sort of a horseshoe shape, I guess. Now you can see I'm using my brush pen here, my Kuretake brush pen. Lots of you ask what pens I use. This is a Kuretake brush pen. I think it's a Sumi. And you can see it's gone really thick over that side. And sort of you can sort of see where it's broken up a little bit over there because the bristles have sort of dried out on that side. I really love that. That's why I love using brush pens, because you get all these kind of random effects when you use them. And lots of people think, oh, that's a bit of a mistake, but I really love it. I love that texture. And if you look at the boobies in my book that I've drawn, you'll see they all kind of have that texture. There's a big one here at the back. I'm going to try and show you this picture. It's a bit of a spoiler, but not really. Hang on, let me just see. I'll do a close up to not get a spoiler. But can you see, I've really kept all that texture of the brush pen and the brushes in my drawings. I really, really like that kind of inky texture. So there we go. So if you make a little mistake, if you're using a brush pen and make a mistake where it gets a bit thicker, don't whatever you do, start again, because I really, really love that. Okay, next thing to do is, from each of these downward points, I want you to draw a straight line down your page like that. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we've drawn like a little round circle with a bit of a rectangle coming out of the bottom of it. Okay? Then we are going to draw exactly the same, another circle at this end, but this time I'm going to do it very slightly bigger. So I'm going to come out, probably to about there. I'm going to come around like that. Can you see it's very slightly bigger, this bottom bulge? Like that. It looks a bit like a bone, dog's bone or something, but with a slightly bigger bottom than a top. Again, mine is not remotely symmetrical. But the other good thing about these brush pens is you can just add a bit of ink here and there. Oh, or you can just do that. And add a random brush stroke there. But can you see, you can just sort of style it out. You can just add a bit more ink here and there. There's a bit of a bulge there. I'll just add a bit more up there. And you can just kind of make it work. So there we go. The very first shape, which is part of our red-footed booby. Now I'm switching to a thinner pen now, because I want to use a bit of a thinner pen because I've got to do a few little detail-y bits. And I'm going to start down here on the bottom section of our booby. And what I want you to do is, coming out of the side, I want you to draw a curve that comes out of the side and then goes back into the side. There. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So two kind of little curves like that. Then, inside each of those shapes that we've created, I want you to do 3 more curves. 3. 1, 2, 3. And believe it or not, they are going to be our booby's wings. They're kind of folded away. Our booby is not flying at the moment. The wing is kind of folded away. So this is going to be our booby's body. This is the neck, and this is going to be our booby's head. Okay, we're going to give our booby a beak now. So right in the middle of the head, we're going to draw a little horizontal line, about that wide. So sort of about half the width of this neck here, sort of in the middle of it. And then we're going to come down. We're going to go a little bit into the neck, like about there, curve around, and then head back up. And that is going to be our booby's beak. I really love drawing these boobies. They're such fun to do. The next thing we're going to do, we need to give our booby some eyes. So what we're going to do, we're going to center the eyes around this horizontal line at the top of the beak, okay? So I want you to draw a circle next to it, like that kind of the midway point is level with that line, like so. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Try and make your eyes roughly the same size if you can. And then inside each one, we're going to do a little circle like that we colour in. And look, suddenly our booby is awake, and already our booby has lots of character. The next thing to do, they've got a sort of dark, sort of a black kind of patch around their eyes. It looks a bit like a mask actually, and this is how we draw it. We're going to come out from the beak here. We're going to go around our eye like that. We're going to go up and over. We go around the other eye like that. We're going to join back up with the beak there, and then we're just going to colour it in like so. Easy peasy. There we go. Starting to look just like the boobies in the book. Eyebrows, very important for expression. I'm going to do my eyebrows sort of going up a bit in the middle, so our booby looks sort of a bit kind of surprised, slightly perturbed, a bit confused. That's kind of a booby's default look, I think. And we are not a million miles away from finishing this picture. I told you this was a very, very easy one. But of course, a blue-footed booby, what do they need? Blue feet. We're not drawing a blue-footed booby though. We're drawing a red-footed booby. So let me try that again. Red-footed boobies, what do they need? That's right, red feet. So I've taken a red coloured pencil. Now I'm going to use, mainly I'm going to use a bit of red coloured pencil. Just going to block that, I've got a bit of water there. I'm going to use mainly red colour pencil, but I am going to use a little bit of red watercolour to do the little bits of webbing later on. So I don't know if you have any watercolour paints. Don't worry at all if you don't. Don't even worry if you don't have any colours, because everything I do you can just do with a pencil. You can just shade it in. You can certainly do the watercolour bit with a red pencil. Let me show you what I mean, and that everything will become clear, don't worry. But the first thing to do, if you do have a red pencil, is we're going to do two little legs coming down like that from our booby's body. Quite thick, like that, and only 1 centimetre or so long, okay? Then we'll do this foot first, the one on the right. We're gonna then change direction, only very subtly, to go towards the middle of our page. We're gonna come right down towards the bottom. We're gonna do nice big red feet on our red-footed booby. I wonder how many times I've called this a blue-footed booby when I've been talking today. I'm so used to saying blue-footed booby, I've got a feeling I've been saying it the whole time. Okay, so once you've done that, we're then going to draw another diagonal line coming down this way this time, about the same length as the one we just did, coming out from where the leg is, like that, so sort of an upside down V. And then our final line is going to come out at an angle like this, like that. And they're going to be the sort of the 3 toes on our booby's foot. Like so. Okay, nice and easy. That one I think I need to make a little bit longer. Like that. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So let's start with the one that comes in. They almost touch in the middle, their feet, their toes I mean. Like that. Then we're sort of doing a mirror image. You're probably quite good at doing mirror images now. We do that a lot in my videos, don't we? And then the last one's going to go out there. And hey presto, we have our boobies' feet. Okay, now they have kind of webbed feet, so they have this kind of skin that grows across the middle. And as I said, I'm going to use this. This is my watercolour set. It's rather used. I should have cleaned it up a bit. I just haven't really bothered. And watercolours are lovely to paint with. They're really good fun. If you get yourself a little tin like this of watercolours, what you do, I use these brushes. They're really good. You can get them quite cheaply in art shops or online. And what they do, they're a brush. You can see they've got a brush at the end, but the water, instead of having to dip your brush into water, the water is held in there and you just sort of squeeze it and a bit of water comes out. And it makes using watercolours really easy. What you do, hang on, let's see, I don't want to get watercolour on the painting yet. What you do, you put your brush into your red paint. We need a bit of red here. And then you just sort of do that, mix it on the palette, and a bit of water comes out of the brush and it just sort of mixes it kind of really nicely, like that. Can you see that? I wasn't really showing you, was I? There we go. A lovely bit of red paint, like so. And then by squeezing your brush a bit, you can then just paint a nice sort of watercolour-y covering, like that. Can you see it sort of doesn't go over my pencil? And it will also, hopefully, will dry a little bit lighter. in colour. So it just adds a certain different kind of texture to your drawing. Like that, you see? And the really good thing about these, right, I'm going to put this here, hopefully I'm not going to get it. The really good thing about these is instead of washing them in water, what you do, just squeeze, and you do that, and can you see, I don't know if you can see, but it starts running clean, and it just sort of cleans your brush itself because the water comes from inside the brush. And now my brush is clean again and ready to go with the next thing. And the next thing in this instance, I'm going to use a little bit of grey. So I'm going to get a bit of black, I'm going to water it down a bit. I've got another piece of paper over here that you can't see, which is very handy when you're using watercolours. Have a spare bit of paper, and then you can see how much water you need to add to your paints to get it nice and light. The reason that I want this not to be too dark is because I'm just going to paint a bit of that. I'm going to paint just with a little bit of kind of grey over the wings like this. You see it's watercolour, so it's transparent, and you get this really kind of nice effect. I'm going to do it up here on the beak as well. And you can see where the water kind of pools, you can sort of control that with your brush, and you can make really nice effects. I'm going to have mine darker at the top, like so, like that. And you'll see when it dries, you can see the red's already drying here. It gets that nice kind of dark edge to it, like that. And you'll see over the course of the next minute or two that it will dry really nicely. And the grey hopefully will add a really nice kind of wash texture behind the beak and behind the wings. And it just looks really nice and it works really well with these boobies. But that's it. That is how you draw a red-footed booby. Thank you, Rob. There you go. So hopefully you've all drawn a very nice red-footed booby together. It was quite easy, isn't it, that one? It's nice and easy, that one. Fun to draw. And the good thing about Draw with Rob is you'll remember how to draw that now. It's probably just stuck in your mind. So when you go home later, you can probably just draw it again and you can show people how to draw it yourselves. So that's fun, isn't it? Now, this story, the Blue-Footed Booby, when I decided to write a story about these amazing looking birds, I thought, well, what could the story be? So I thought to myself, well, I want it to be they're quite a fun looking animal, aren't they? A sort of a silly looking animal. And I thought, well, I'm going to write a silly story. I write my picture books in rhyme because I think they're the most fun to read aloud. And I thought, right, I'm going to make this a kind of whodunit story, okay? Immediately I thought there should be some footprints in this book, blue footprints. And I thought, right, well, these footprints could be a clue to something. What could they be a clue to? And then I thought, what if all red-footed boobies are really good bakers? Okay, they really love making cakes. I know it's silly, isn't it? And what if some of these cakes mysteriously go missing? They get taken. If they're put on the windowsill to cool down. What if somebody takes them? And at the scene of the crime, there are lots of blue footprints. You would automatically think, if you were a red-footed booby, you'd think it was the blue-footed booby that took these cakes, isn't it? So that's what I did. That's the story I wrote. So it's a kind of whodunit. But it's also, the themes of this story, I guess, are you shouldn't jump to conclusions, maybe. You should give people the benefit of the doubt. Because not everything in this world is as it seems. And I'm not going to say any more because I am now going to read you this story. Well, actually, I'm not going to read it because when I wrote it, I thought the rhyme was so nice and sort of rhythmic. I thought I should set it to music. It just gets sillier and sillier. So I'm sort of going to sing you this story, actually. But you will see there are lots of bits in this story where you need to join in with me. Not least, there's a bit at the beginning when everyone has to shout, booby, 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 booby. Can you do that? That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So you're going to need to join in with that bit while I'm reading this story. And there's also kind of a chorus that pops up every now and then. But the words will be on screen so you'll know what to sing. So here we go. I'm going to hand over to myself. This time I'm over there. I'm going to hand over to myself and I'm going to read you the Blue-Footed Booby. Rob, are you ready? You ready with the music? He's ready. Okay, let's go. Booby, booby. Booby, 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 booby. All red-footed boobies are bakers at heart, and
Desmond here makes a mean frangipan tart. In fact, he's just made one, but here's something weird. The tart that he's just made has just disappeared. Booby, 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 booby. Where has it gone? Have you spotted a clue? Oh look, Desmond, footprints, big footprints of blue. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Booby, 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 booby. Well, hello there, Maureen. Those donuts look good. There's no time to try one. I wish that we could. We're following footprints to see where they lead. Left footprint, right footprint, gathering speed. We're following footprints to see where they lead. Left footprint, right footprint, gathering speed. They lead straight past Rod's house, and there on the stand, here's Black Forest Gatto, the best in the land. Let's follow the footprints, let's hunt for some clues. Left footprint, right footprint, no time to lose. Let's follow the footprints, let's hunt for some clues. Left footprint, right footprint, no time to lose. Booby, 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 booby. Past lots more houses and past lots more cakes. We'll follow forever if that's what it takes. Oh, 10 little boobies and 20 red feet, all tracking the footprints that run down the street. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Booby, 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 booby. They lead to a house with a little blue door, a house that no Redfoot has been to before. Des knocks on the knocker. Oh, here's something new. A cute little booby whose feet are bright blue. Booby, 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 booby.
Did you steal my tart?
Desmond asks with a look.
If so, kindly give back the tart that you took. I don't have your tart.
Says the chap with the feet.
A tart isn't something that I'd like to eat. Broccoli, yes, please, or sprouts or string beans. You see,
Says the Bluefoot.
I only eat greens. That's all very well.
Says the red-footed guy.
But how do I know you're not telling a lie?
Booby, 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 booby. All of a sudden, Des spots a new clue. A fresh trail of tart crumbs. Oh, follow them do. Let's follow the tart crumbs to see where they go. Oh, 1 tart crumb, 2 tart crumbs back through the snow. Let's follow the tart crumbs to see where they go. Oh, 1 tart crumb, 2 tart crumbs back through the snow. Back past the houses, but something's not right. There's not a Swiss roll or a cupcake in sight. And where is Rod's gatto? It's totally gone. And poor Maureen's donuts, this just isn't on. Booby, 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 booby. They follow the trail through the trees to a clearing. Then
Stop!
Desmond yells,
What's that sound that I'm hearing?
munch, 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 munch. Barbara, oh my, what on earth have you done? The cakes, you have eaten them, every last one. Barbara, oh my, what on earth have you done? The cakes, you have eaten them, every last one.
I'm sorry.
Says Barbara while rubbing her tummy.
I really like cakes and your bake smells so yummy. So I tricked you all with this blue footprint maker to hide the fact I was the cheeky cake taker. But now I feel sick and my stomach is sore.
I don't think this booby likes cakes anymore. Booby, 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 booby. Desmond approaches the blue-footed booby. His cheeks, like his feet, are a deep shade of ruby.
I'm sorry.
He says,
You were right all along. I jumped to conclusions. I got it all wrong. And so, in the hope it will get me a pardon, please help yourself to the veg in my garden.
but wait, what's all this? There's no veg to be seen. A clue, boobies, footprints, big footprints of green. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Let's follow the footprints to see where they go. A left footprint, right footprint, dash through the snow. Meanwhile, the blue footer heads home with a grin and thinks of his day and the mischief therein, with tricks and red herrings of all shapes and sizes. It just goes to show life is full of surprises.
Oh my goodness, what a silly song. What a silly story. I really hope you enjoyed that. I feel like I should apologise because that tune and that song is going to be in your heads for the rest of your lives. You're going to find yourself singing it at the strangest times. I do all the time. Ever since I wrote it, I can't stop singing it myself. And I hope you enjoyed the story. There you go. Don't judge a book by its cover. Did you guess that little twist at the end? With the blue-footed booby being the one who took the vegetables. Oh, it's a fun story, isn't it? Listen, that's about all we've got time for. I hope you've enjoyed this World Book Day event. I certainly have enjoyed it. Thank you to the Manchester Library Service and Z Arts for hosting me. Also, I just want to tell you something about Z Arts. There's an exhibition of lots of my book characters that's been taking place in London for the last year or so, and it's called the 100-Story Hotel. It's been at Discover Children's Story Centre in London for a year, and it's brilliant. It's kind of done up like a hotel, and all the rooms, each room is kind of from a different one of my books. So there's one with dinosaurs, there's Blown Away one, there's an Odd Dog Out one, all sorts of things, and it's a really, really fun kind of interactive exhibition. Lots of things for you guys to do, to draw, and there's some exclusive Draw with Rob videos and all sorts of activities for you to do. And the good news for you guys up in Manchester is that it's coming up to Manchester soon, and it's going to be at Z Arts. So keep an eye out for when that's coming to you guys, and make sure you go and visit it. Right, all that remains is for me to wish you all a very happy World Book Day. Thanks again at Manchester Libraries for having me, and to Z Arts for hosting, and to make sure you enjoy the Manchester Literary Festival, because I love it. It's fabulous. Keep on drawing, guys. Keep on reading, and I will see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.